Welcome everyone. My name is Naomi Manning and I work for Sydney Living Museums. Today I'm coming to you from right in front of the Hyde Parks Barracks. Now we are going to do a program called Make a Convict Love Token, and we've got a lot of exciting things planned for you. You're going to go inside the barracks, you're going to actually meet one of the convicts who slept there, and then you're going to meet one of our curators who works for the museum, and she's going to show you some special things from our museum collection, including the love tokens. Now this is the Hyde Parks Barracks. It was built by convicts 200 years ago, and they built it as their accommodation. So it wasn't a prison, but they were not allowed to leave. Today, it's been listed as a World Heritage Site, which means it's one of the most important sites that we have that tells us about the convict history. Now, I'm here in Sydney, and Sydney Cove was the landing point for about half the convicts that came to the Australian colonies. And from 1819, many of those convicts slept here in the barracks. So how many convicts do you think actually did sleep in this barracks? Maybe you think it's 1,000, or maybe you're thinking that's too little, more like 10,000, 20,000. In fact, our records show that about 50,000 convicts passed through the barracks. So let's go inside and meet one of those convicts who slept here. His name is Evan Brindle.
Greetings to you all. I am Evan Brindle. I believe you want to hear for yourselves what it's like to be a convict here at the Hyde Parks Barracks. Now, in the good old days back in England, I was a calico printer from Lancashire. I used to draw pictures on fabric, I did, and then we'd use coloured dye on wooden blocks to print out long patterns on the calico fabric. Now, have a look at this picture here of my mate Wally. It's from the Book of Trades, 1827. Can you see him printing on the calico cloth? Look at him go, eh? He's a bit of a celebrity being in that book and all that. Cheeky monkey. Now, I didn't make enough money from doing that job. That weren't my fault. So one day, I had to steal something to survive. And unlucky for me, I got caught. But lucky for me, I knew someone that knew someone that knew somebody else. Well, instead of hanging for it, here I am now paying my debt to society by working for this government in this new land halfway across the world from my home. I'm lucky though. I only got 7 years. It could have been 14 years or even life. That's around 28 years. Left my family behind, no. Love my wife and daughters, I do. You know, I lost them on that day, I did. Anyway, you lot, put your hands on your thinking caps. Mine's made out of leather. If you know of other crimes that convicts were transported for. Ooh! Some of you lot know a few things, don't you? Yeah. You're really thinking about this? That's excellent. Okay, put your hands down. Now, lots of us convicts like me had to steal things. Things like horses, sheep, ducks, pigeons, potatoes, fowl, clothes, watches, shoes, and money, of course. Others, they were sentenced for receiving stolen property. Oh, that's a bit cheeky. Others, for striking a sergeant. Striking a sergeant, you'd be as thick as a doctor's wallet. There'd be guards everywhere. And others were charged for murder. Oh, that's a bit scary and awful too. Hey, you know, children as young as 7 years of age were sentenced to come to Australia. Put your hands if you are 7. Ooh, a lot of you small fellas out there today. Okay, put your hands down. Now listen up. Because Australia is 15,000 kilometres from Mother England and travelling by ship is very, very expensive, most of us convicts never returned home again. And this is after we finished our sentence. That's not right. Now listen, before I get back to work, I want to show you something special. It's something that I made. And here it is. It's my love token. Now, have a look at this painting. Can you see what's happening here? Can you see a convict like me is giving his wife a love token before he is transported to New South Wales? Now, a convict love token is a coin that some of us convicts made and gave to their loved ones before they were transported to the convict settlements. Now, before I left my wife, Elizabeth, that's her name, and my 3 daughters, I made and gave them a love token, just like this one. I wanted them to know just how much I loved them and how much I would miss them. You know, holding it like this, it makes me think about them a lot. And I miss them so, so much. Look, I better put it back in my pocket. Can't keep feeling sad about looking at my love token now. There's lots to do at the Hyde Park Barracks. For instance, look at this, cleaning and mending this night bucket toilet. I bet you're glad you're not a convict like me. Anyway, wave goodbye to me now. There's lots to do. I am Convict Evan Brindle. Enjoy finding more about the love tokens. Bye everyone. Bye.
Well, hello again. That was fun meeting Evan Brindle inside the barracks. I'm standing now at the front of the barracks, and next to me here is Mel Flyte. Now, Mel is one of the curators here at the Hyde Park Barracks Museum. So Evan showed us that coin and he told us why the convict love token was important to him. But Mel, why is it important to you?
Well, love tokens were handmade and they were given to family members or loved ones before a convict was sent to New South Wales. Quite often when convicts were transported to Australia, they never saw their loved ones again. And so this was like a little part of themselves that they could leave behind for their loved ones to remember them.
Do you remember who Evan Brindle left behind? I bet some of you do remember that it was, of course, his whole family. He left his wife and his daughters behind in England. So, Mel, what do we learn from a coin like Evan's?
Well, we know a lot about individual convicts from the official documents that survive. We know their name, their crime, what they were sentenced for, how long they were transported, but a love token tells us something different. It's a personal perspective. It tells us about the convict emotions, and that's a really important thing. Love tokens could be detailed or simple, but each one is unique and different.
All right, so of course you met Evan Brindle because he really was a convict that slept here in the barracks, and we have his love token. So let's have a look at it. Mel, let's look at Evan's coin. How was it made? How did he make it?
Well, all love tokens were made from actual coins that the convict would use. I've got a couple of coins to show you here. This one is a cartwheel penny and this one is a half penny. Now you can see that the cartwheel penny is a larger coin, so it would give you more space to write your message on. I'll show you Evan's coin now. To make this coin, Evan would have to have smoothed the surface of the coin that he chose to get rid of all of the words or numbers already on it. It was quite easy to do because copper coins were quite soft. Once all of that was smooth, he could engrave his own message. Now, we don't know exactly what Evan used or other convicts used to engrave their message, but it was something sharp like a pin or an old nail. I'm going to show you how easy it was to do with this piece of copper, which is what the coins were made of. I can engrave my own message or picture into the copper quite easily, and this is exactly how the coins were made. Now, some convicts would actually use a professional to make their coin, like a silversmith or a metal worker. Other convicts would make their own.
Now, let's have a little fun fact here. What do you think? Do you think it was actually legal to do what these convicts were doing, to scrape the front off a coin and then scratch their own designs on it? What do you think? Well, if you think it was illegal, you're right. They were in fact breaking the law again before they were sent out here, because it's illegal to destroy a British coin the way they were doing to make these tokens. So let's have a look at another one now. This is another coin that we have at Sydney Living Museums. This is the coin of James Dawes. So Mel, what do we know about James Dawes?
Well, we know that James Dawes was a young shopkeeper from Liverpool in England who was sentenced to 7 years of transportation for robbery. James actually had a lot of tattoos, including a picture of a fish, an anchor, and even his own initials, JD, on his body.
Now, you all do a lot of history in your classrooms. I know you act like history detectives and use the clues to find out the stories. Now, that's actually Mel's job. Mel needs to use all the clues she can find to find out about these stories. So Mel, what clues or what sources do you use to find out the story of people like James Dawes?
Well, we can use a lot of different sources to find out about convicts like James. We can use official documents, government records, shipping logs, musters, and documents like this, which is an example of a ticket of leave. Now, a convict who was given a ticket of leave was quite lucky, because they could go out and basically be a free person here in New South Wales.
All right, well, we have time to look at one more love token. We are going to look at the love token of a woman named Mary Ives. Now, already you might have noticed there's something different about this love token. It's actually very rare. Only 1 in 10 convicts were women. So having a convict love token made by a woman, a female convict, is very unusual. Mel, what do we know about Mary Ives?
Well, Mary's story was quite a sad one. She was transported for 14 years for stealing a coin purse. But when she came to Australia, her young daughter, Sarah Ann Ives, came with her. Sarah was only 6 years old, and when they arrived in Sydney, Sarah was taken away from her mother and sent to the Female Orphan Institute in Parramatta, where she died.
Oh, that's really sad. But what else is interesting about the way Mary made this convict love token?
Well, what we see here is a different style of decorating a love token. If you look really closely, the words have been made with tiny dots, and this technique is called stippling. So rather than engraving, you put dots to make your pattern. The lovely thing about Mary's coin is that it also has a very personal message for her sister, and it says, "Sarah Bacon, when this you see, remember me, though I am far away."
Well, that's a lovely message between two sisters. And that's the last convict love token we have time to look at. So Mel, thank you. Thank you for bringing these out and showing them to all of us today. And all of you are now going to get a chance to make your own convict love token. Let's cross to Zoe, who's going to explain the activity.
Now that you've seen examples of real convict love tokens, you can use what you've learnt to make your own love token for someone that you care about today. This activity is suitable for stage 1, 2 and 3. For more information, you can visit our website. Just search for Sydney Living Museums, what are convict love tokens, and there you'll find all the information you need to make your love tokens at home. Now, the love tokens that you can make, they don't have to be about loss or separation. They can be about love or gratitude or any other feelings you want to express towards the person that you are making it for. So let's have a look at some beautiful examples from Millthorpe Public School and see who they've made their tokens for. So this one here is for Dad. I love you, Dad. This one for Auntie Madge. Here we've got one for Mum. I love you, Mum. And here's one for Finn, maybe a friend or brother. So who are you thinking about making your token for. Now, once you've decided who you're going to make your token for, all you need to do is cut out a piece of cardboard 10 to 15 centimetres in diameter. Now let's have a look and see how some of these tokens have been decorated. So first of all, we've got here some printed paper to make a collage on one side of this token here. Beautiful. These ones have been embroidered. So still using cardboard, the student has used coloured string to make a beautiful pattern on one side and a message on the other. I love you to the moon and back. Lovely. And here's another beautiful example of some embroidery. They can be colourful. You can use lots and lots of colour. Here's a pattern, paint. There's a colour there. And maybe you could use ink or watercolours to make beautiful coloured tokens there. You don't have to just use cardboard. You could use some aluminium, like these ones here, where the student has pressed a pattern into the metal to make these lovely tokens here. So I hope these examples have given you lots of inspiration to make your own love tokens at home. For any more information, or if you'd like to see these tokens again, don't forget to check out our website.
Well, enjoy that activity where you get to make your own love token, but that actually brings today to an end. So thank you for visiting the Hyde Park Barracks today. I hope you enjoyed seeing inside the barracks, meeting Mel, one of our curators, seeing some of the things in our collection, and of course meeting Evan Brindle, the convict.
Oh, hope you had fun and learnt something about the convict love tokens.
But Mr. Brindle, can you please clean that night bucket now? It stinks to high
I'll do that
heaven
right
here.
now, Mum. My apologies. Sorry.
Bye everyone, bye.
That stinks.